If you watch this entire video, you will master opportunities and pipelines in HighLevel. So check this out. So I'm now in the opportunities tab of one of my HighLevel sub accounts, and this is where you basically can track all of your opportunities for different pipelines, different funnels, different products. So once you click up here, you could select different pipelines for different funnels, different products again. And these names that you see right here are basically managed back here on the back end. So they're in HighLevel, they consider these different pipelines, but it could be different customer journeys, it could be different product names, different offers as well. And so if we click into main leads pipeline right here by hitting this edit button, you'll basically see the different stages of this pipeline. So you've got the stage 1 dot new lead inquiry, 2 dot unable to contact lead, and these stages that you set up on the back end here of the pipeline are basically the stages that you see on the front end right here as well. So we've got 1 dot new lead inquiry, 2 dot unable to contact, and the further stages. And this is fully customizable. So whatever your customer journey is, your customer process, your internal, your external process, you can basically depict the different stages of that process within opportunities and pipelines in HighLevel right here. So if you're like, hey, actually after 1 dot new lead inquiry, I have another stage, you can go back into pipelines, you can hit this edit button right here, you can add a new stage down here at the bottom, and you could call this 1.1 old lead inquiry. So instead of new lead inquiry, we're basically now adding 1.1 old lead inquiry. So then we can just hit this up arrow right here on old lead inquiry and basically move it up to the stages and all the way up to 1, right behind 1. So 1 is new lead inquiry, 1.1 is old lead inquiry. And again, I'm just trying to inspire ideas on how customizable these pipelines are and how you can make it, again, an internal, external process, whatever you want to, and how easy it is to change these stages. So now we've got 1.1. I'll just go ahead and hit save right here, and we'll go back to the opportunities, and now we can see it populated right here. And now if you wanted to move opportunities into that stage, you could simply drag and drop it over. So this right here, every little square that you see here, every little button that you see here, it almost looks like a big fat button. Every button that you see here is basically an opportunity. Each opportunity is assigned to a contact. An opportunity has a opportunity value, and from here you could go into the contact's conversation, the contact's tags, the contact's notes, the tasks, and also the appointment. So if I click on appointment right now, for example, it'll actually pull up that contact, and I could immediately schedule an appointment with this contact on a corresponding calendar. So I'll just X out of here. And again, what you do basically is we want to visualize the process that your leads would go through in a product, a funnel, wherever that might be, and we can just drag and drop it over manually. And what I'll show you towards the end of this video is I'll show you how you can automate that drag and dropping and make it automatic with the help of automations and workflows. For now, let me show you how to actually create these opportunities. To do that, you can individually create opportunities by hitting this plus button right here. You could select a contact and be like, hey, this is Samuel Tarley. And if these names right here on these lists sound familiar, this is basically names of Game of Thrones characters. So if it sounds familiar, that's why. And I just thought it would be funny to add that to this video. So let's say we want to select Arya Stark. We're creating a new opportunity. She doesn't have a phone number, otherwise that would populate just how it populated the email. And we could say, hey, which pipeline do we even want to create this opportunity in? Which stage of the pipeline do we want to create this in? Is this open? What's the opportunity value? So we could edit all of that typical opportunity data. And once we hit create, oh, okay, so she already has an opportunity. And so I'm not allowing duplicate opportunities in this pipeline because that would be dirty data in my business. If in your business you do want to have duplicate opportunities, you could have that. For now, let's just select a different pipeline like customer journey here, and let's hit create, and then we should get a successful created notification. And so now if we go into this other pipeline called customer journey, we'll see here's an opportunity called Arya Stark, and it did create that. So that's a way that you can create individual opportunities one-on-one, but you might be wondering, how can I create bulk opportunities? So if we go to contacts and we select a bulk amount of contacts. In this dummy account, I again only have 15 records, but we could select 100, 500, 1,000 contacts and mass create opportunities by selecting them here, clicking on this Add to Automation robot icon right here, hitting OK, proceed, and then we would select our opportunity creation workflow. So we could select 1.1, create opportunity in the new lead pipeline stage. 1.3, create opportunity in the scheduled pipeline stage. I forgot to change the name there, but you get the gist. That's basically how I mass created these opportunities for this video. I just added them to automations that would create the opportunities. And so yeah, we would select the workflow here. We would add them all at once. This is a bad button, okay? This add all at once is a dangerous button. If you're sending emails, you want to be very, very careful with this add all at once button. You don't want to mass send 500 contacts an email all at the same time. So if you're doing email sending, you always want to select add in drip mode, and you want to say, hey, send 1 every 1 day, send 5 every 1 hour. So this is the drip mode where you do email campaigns, but otherwise for this contact creation, we do want to do it all at once, and we'll just say like test 2, and once I hit add to automation, it would add them to this workflow and it would create the opportunity in this pipeline stage. So let's jump into 1.2 real fast and check this out. For that, we'll just go to automation, then we'll select the folder 1.opportunity and pipeline automations. And so let's check out 1.2, for example, here, but you can see I threw a couple in this automation, a couple in this automation, a couple in this automation to basically create the different stages within the opportunity and pipelines. And so if we go back out of here and click on to 1.2, for example, we'll be brought into this workflow. And there's no trigger for this workflow. Once you hit that robot icon I just showed you guys, you can manually add them to workflows and you don't need this trigger up here at the top. And so I manually added them, and then this action down here happened. It's usually, if this trigger happens, do all these actions down here below, but this is a very simple, very short workflow where we just add them manually without a trigger, and then this one action happens right here. And so this action was called create or update opportunity. So if we hit on this plus sign, just to visualize this, what's a good habit to do within HighLevel, because HighLevel can be so overwhelming at first, and you don't need to get overwhelmed by all the options. You want to focus on one project and get stuff done. Move forward on that one project. Make it as good as possible until you're happy with that project. And so for inspiration purposes, it can be good to, again, just hit this little plus button here and see what kind of actions are possible. So this up here, again, is considered a trigger. You can have one or multiple triggers, and all of these buttons down here are considered actions. So if we hit this action button right here and we scroll down, we can see what kind of contact actions are available in HighLevel. What kind of communication actions are available in HighLevel. Okay, we could send email, we could send SMS, we could even send Slack. So all of these actions are available and at our disposal. And if we scroll down, we see the opportunity tab. That's what this video is obviously about, opportunities and pipelines. So we could add an action to create or update an opportunity, or we could add an action to remove an opportunity. This action right here is create or update opportunity. And once we click into it, we can see how I created it. So I'm basically saying, hey, once this automation, once this workflow happens and I add somebody to this, I want you to create or update an opportunity. If this contact already has an opportunity, please update the opportunity. If this contact doesn't have an opportunity yet, please create an opportunity. So that's why it says create or update the opportunity. And I want to create it in the main leads pipeline. I want to create it in the 3-dot contacted lead stage. And you can see all the different pipeline stages right there, basically. And I want this opportunity name to be contact name dash contact email. So by clicking on this button back here, we can actually pull in all kinds of custom values or custom fields from the contact. So we could say if this, again, was an appointment time and you wanted the opportunity name to display the appointment time, you could add that as well. So just to demonstrate this real fast, let's select appointment and appointment start date time, and you can see now that custom value basically populated back here, or theoretically this would be a custom field. And so you saw, you can add a lot of different data and you could change the opportunity name depending on the different stages if you wanted to. For now, we'll just delete this And so this was the automation where we created it and added it to 3.contacted lead stage. And we said contact name dash contact email. So just to visualize that, this was again the 3.contacted lead stage. And those custom fields will basically populate with, again, the contact name and contact email. And that's basically how that will show up here in the opportunities. If that's how you want it to show up. If that's not how you want it to show up, you could have here, this is Jamie Lannister, that's contact name. And then Lannister's, I think the custom field is called house affiliation. So that's one that I just created for fun. And then back here, we've got another one, which was contact name dash title. And so again, everything within HighLevel is extremely customizable. And that's what's great about HighLevel, but also confusing about HighLevel if you don't know how to do it. So if you like this video and this is helpful, go ahead and like this video. That's why I named the sub account like that. So let's go back to this automation and let me know if you have any questions about this right here, because this can be complicated, but really we're just creating opportunities. We're saying, hey, this is the lead value. We want it to be open or closed or lost or won. And so this is where the magic happens in HighLevel with these workflows and saying, hey, once this happens, do this automatically on the back end without me having to move a finger. And so while we're at this topic, I think this is a great point to explain to you how can I make automations happen automatically within HighLevel for opportunities and pipelines. And I want to differentiate that and put that into two different buckets. It's either I myself do an action and then the opportunity updates. So if I myself do an action in this first bucket, it could be I take Samuel Tarley and I move him over here into unable to contact lead. That's me taking an action, and that action that I just took can trigger a workflow or an automation on the back end of HighLevel. So that's the first bucket. The second bucket is if the lead takes an action, then this opportunity is moved into a certain stage automatically on the back end. So those are the two different buckets that I just want to differentiate. Let's check out the first bucket of where I move this opportunity from one stage of the pipeline into the next stage of the pipeline, into the next stage of the pipeline. So what is the trigger that we need to make automations happen on the back end here? And let's just do a quick example. So let's say I was on a sales call with Sansa Stark and I sold her. And once I move Sansa Stark from the showed stage into the sold stage, I want to send her the welcome email to my program or whatever it is. If I get a new client, I sell them, I send them a certain email. So let's build out or visualize how that automation would work real fast. We'll go back to this tab, and the trigger for that automation is, we'll just go into opportunity, and then we can see all the triggers that we have for opportunities. So we could do opportunity status changed. That would be one lost, and those statuses that we see down here. Once I drag her down here, one lost, abandoned, one. So that is, we could trigger it by that, because if we sold her, we won her, and we could say, hey, send her the welcome email, and then move her into the sold pipeline stage. So as you can see, this is a highly customized project, or this is a highly customized part of HighLevel, and you really need to understand what are my different stages of my pipeline and how do I want to automate it? Because once you automate it and you set up certain triggers, it will send that email. And if you forget that it will send that email, or you can't remember that it will send that email, then that's not ideal. And so this is where, yeah, if you need any help, I'm happy to help, and just comment any questions down below. But again, let's say we want it to trigger once we move it into sold, we want it to send the welcome email. So then we would type in opportunities up here under workflow triggers. We would say opportunity changed. We would add the filter and say, hey, once the opportunity changes in the pipeline, main leads pipeline, and we move it into the pipeline stage, and this pipeline stage is, again, we're selling her, sold. So if the opportunity changes in the pipeline, this pipeline, into the pipeline stage, sold, that will trigger this workflow to happen. So that is the only trigger that we have up here at the top. If we wanted to change the name so that we know what we built out, we would do that right there. And then these actions down below here will trigger. We don't want this to happen. This doesn't make any sense. This was, again, for something I created before. But let's say once we once we sell to Arya Stark, we'll send her an email, and this email will be the welcome email. So we'll just call this welcome email right here. We'll put welcome email right here, and we'll just put it as a dummy data in here so we can save it. So once again, the opportunity status is dragged and dropped over. We send the welcome email. That is the first bucket of how you can automate pipeline changes right here. The second bucket, so that's you doing an action. Again, this first bucket is you doing an action, dragging and dropping opportunities from different stages into other stages and triggering actions on the back end with workflows. That is the first bucket. You take an action. The second bucket is the lead takes an action. So let's say once the lead schedules an appointment on the calendar, we want this lead automatically to go from unable to contact to scheduled appointment. How would we set that up? So that's not us taking an action, but the lead taking an action and the opportunities and pipelines updating automatically on the back end. So that would be a simple automation where if, let's just stay in this one real fast. Let's just delete this trigger. Again, I'm trying to show you guys how to recreate it on your own, on your end, and actually learn HighLevel. So hopefully this is helpful. If not, just comment below and give me feedback. But now as a new trigger, we said once an appointment, so we'll do appointment status. Appointment status is, once an appointment status is confirmed, that'll be the trigger. And if we wanted to filter this down, we would add a filter and we could say, hey, once the appointment status is confirmed, only in this one specific calendar, we want to trigger this workflow. Whereas if it's in a different calendar, we want to trigger a different workflow. All of this is possible in HighLevel, okay? And so again, the lead is on a calendar booking page. It books the meeting on the calendar. And then once the appointment is booked and confirmed, it'll trigger this automation. And we could say then, let's update the opportunity and let's move its opportunity in the main pipeline to the stage scheduled appointment. I hope that makes sense. I hope that is very logical. And so yeah, it's pretty simple. Once they book an appointment, let's move that opportunity from wherever it was, let's update it and move it to scheduled appointment. And so instead of us manually having to do this and keep track of our leads, and you know, we humans are lazy, we make mistakes, we don't work 24/7, we can tell HighLevel to do that automatically for us so that in the scheduled appointment pipeline stage, there's only the actually truly scheduled appointments that are scheduled right now. And then once we have the sales call, they either no-show and we move them into no-show, they either showed, they either were sold, like all of that can be automated on the back end as well. And so these are simple, small workflows that you can build out on your own, you know, just by watching this video. But let me just inspire some ideas real fast on what this could look like. Because I have pre-configured automations for all of my HighLevel sub accounts right here. You can see when somebody canceled no-shows, when somebody buys a certain product, when somebody's on the nurture campaign. And one way to visualize this, I don't want to overwhelm you with this part right here, but this is a cool automation or a cool workflow called status update workflow. And how this workflow here works is there's a certain site, a certain funnel page that your sales team can attend. So this contact update form right here, basically after a sales meeting, your team should pretty much fill in this update form. And once they say on this update form, hey, this contact was contacted, they no-showed, they showed, they were sold, let's trigger automations on the back end. And that is exactly what this automation right here is. So it looks a little overwhelming, but really once you get into it, it's pretty simple. So if on this form we say, hey, this contact no-showed, then it'll go on the back end to this automation right here, and specifically to this column right here. So on the form, we're saying they no-showed. Let's add the system note to the contact and say that they no-showed. Let's add the tag that they no-showed. Let's move them to the pipeline stage that they no-showed. Let's update the appointment status to make sure that it was tagged as no-showed. So all of that can be automated within HighLevel. And again, this is more of an idea. It can be personalized for many, many different use cases. This is an internal use case where somebody just had a sales meeting and the sales rep fills in this form, and the sales rep can say, hey, I took some internal notes and I actually want to, for myself, the internal notes are for myself, but I also took a conversation recap notes, and I want to send these conversation recap notes via email to the client. And so that is also automated in this form right here. Depending on if you say you want to send it, it'll send it. If you say you don't want to send it, it won't send it. So pretty cool. And again, hopefully this doesn't overwhelm you, but again, if we go to like the stage sold here, it'll put them in the sold stage pipeline. It'll request a review if you wanted to do that. So a lot is possible within HighLevel. You just kind of need to know how to do it. And so these opportunities here are actually not only tracked under the Opportunities tab, but you can also click into Dashboard and keep track of your opportunities and pipeline value from here. So you've got the opportunity status, opportunity value, and I'm a big fan of this funnel chart right here because it shows you the different stages, how many leads are in each stage. It also visualizes it with, this color here, and it tracks these conversion rates here as well. So I love this chart. I think this is super helpful if you've got a lot of leads in your pipeline and you want to, again, track conversion rates and stuff like that. But so let's say that you have these different stages, but 1.1 is more of an internal stage and you're using it for your internal visualization of your process, and you don't actually want it to mess up your conversion rates. So what you would do then is you would go into opportunities, you would select the specific pipeline, hit edit right there, and you would go into the 1.1 old lead inquiry, for example, and you would turn it off for that pipeline. Once you then go down and hit save, and we then go back to the dashboard, hopefully, if HighLevel is not messing up today, we'll see, okay, 1.1 is gone now. We've got 1, 2, and 1.1, which was right in between here, has disappeared, and it will keep your conversion rate data here on the side a little bit cleaner. So that's just a little tip. So you can decide which one of these little widgets right here you prefer and how you prefer to track your data basically. We can also hit this little edit button right here and say, hey, main leads pipeline, this is most important to me. Opportunity status, I want to see this at the top as well. And you can basically drag and drop these widgets around as you like and really make this dashboard look like whatever is best for you and your team. And so then you can just hit save changes. I don't want to save these changes because it's, a little bit ugly, but I'll go ahead and hit cancel. I just wanted to say that this is possible. And so I host daily group coaching calls for HighLevel, and I speak to a lot of different clients from a lot of different industries and businesses. And I think it's a great first task to go into HighLevel, go into this opportunities tab, use an existing pipeline like this one, or go to pipelines and create a new pipeline and start visualizing your process and adding different stages and being like, hey, my first stage is this, my second stage is this, my third stage is I receive a contract and then I want HighLevel to do this, my fourth stage is they book an appointment and then I want HighLevel to do this. So I think it's an excellent first task for people once they get more serious about HighLevel to have one main pipeline and kind of map out their customer journey. And so I want to inspire ideas on how you could map out your customer journey and this funnel, these pipelines. So it could be they download a lead magnet. It could be they purchase a product. It could be they purchase a one-time offer. So all of this could be visualized in these pipelines. It could be they join a wait list. They were on the checkout page, but they abandoned the cart and didn't finish the checkout. They are in the nurture campaign. They purchased. They actually wanted a refund. They logged into my course the first time. They completed a category within my course. So all of this could be different pipeline stages for one funnel, for multiple funnels, for one product, for one online course. So I think it's, again, a great idea as a business owner new to HighLevel, being more and more serious about HighLevel, to visualize your process, your different lead stages, and realize that in a pipeline. And then once you have that visualization and you have these different stages right here, you can say, once they're in this stage, let's create an automation for it. Once they're in this stage, let's create an automation for that. Once they take this action, let's move them into this stage. So that was the two buckets of either you take an action, bucket number one, or then they take an action, bucket number 2, and let's update the opportunities in the pipelines accordingly. And all of that would happen again on the back end under automations, what I showed you guys earlier. So let me know if you guys have any questions around that. If you do, you can go ahead and comment them down below. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.